Hello everybody, my name is Bex and today I'll be doing a video all about flow blue pottery. Wow, so pretty. Let's get into it. This will be kind of a new type of video for me. It'll basically be a video essay because I wanted to dig in more about the flow blue that we recently got. I know a little bit about antique dishes, but it's always good to know more and keep on looking for information, and I thought this information might be helpful to people who don't know a lot about old dishes and want to learn more, antique collectors and dealers, and just some stuff that I found interesting. So flow blue is actually a type of transferware. People debate on whether or not it was made accidentally or on purpose. I believe it's probably a mixture of both, where they maybe didn't at first realize the effect that this could do, but then once they learned about it and it started growing in popularity, they definitely started making this effect on purpose. So flow blue was made first in England, but it spread to be made in many different countries. Lots of different companies made different flow blue pieces, and it was mostly between the 1820s and the 1920s, so about 100 years. There were some pieces made after the 1920s as well, and there's actually still pieces being made today. There are reproductions and stuff that isn't actually antique. Still can be very nice and pretty, but if you're looking for true antiques, I'll give you some tips on how to keep your eye out on what to look for. But yeah, there's a big age range where different pieces were made. So in the early 1800s, flow blue and other types of transferware were becoming popular because they were basically the people who could afford it. The upper class in England were buying pottery made in China that was really detailed, hand painted, like fine porcelain, and just beautiful dishes, but not everybody could afford the pieces from China. So other companies, mostly in Staffordshire, England, is where they started making different transferware pieces, and flow blue became a part of that due to a chemical that was added during the firing process. It would either be a ammonia oxide or lime that was added and kind of made the cobalt ink that they were making these patterns with kind of blend during the firing process, and it made a blurry, hazy effect, which they now call flow blue. And it's just really cool that it was during the firing process, and that's why some people think it may have been a mistake, that they didn't know this chemical would add that effect at first, and then once they learned it, it became popular. And it was basically just so more people could get a taste and have the style of fine china. It may have started off in England, but lots of different countries and different companies made flow blue pieces. Some of the popular ones from England are W.H. Grinley & Co., Wedgwood, and Johnson Brothers. Those are three really big companies. There's also New Wharf Pottery, which was another collectible flow blue maker. There was also some companies from the United States and, Germany, Holland, lots of places in Europe made flow blue. Some of the United States companies include Wheeling, Warwick, and Mercer, which I haven't found any of those. I maybe have seen some Warwick other pieces other than the flow blue, but I haven't found any of those yet. That's kind of interesting. I hope I can find some. So the value on flow blue pieces has multiple different things that get factored into it, but one of the factors is the bleeding how much the blue flowed. So this one doesn't have a ton on the front for the flow. People really like the blue, hazy, like watercolor look of these dishes. Like you can kind of see it on the back. That's another way to kind of check if you're looking at a genuine antique or a newer piece of flow blue, is seeing how the blue flows. They can replicate the flowiness in the reproductions, but the old pieces just kind of feel like they have a more natural look. This one is a Johnson Brothers Warwick piece. Very pretty with the little grapevines and the leaves. So the early Victorian pieces were often made on ironstone, and they had more like, were trying to copy the dishes that were being made and imported from China at the time. They're probably harder to find because they were older in the early 1800s. But if you find one that is made on ironstone, definitely try to find the age of it because it may be an early flow blue piece. The mid-Victorian flow blue pieces often depict flowers, and they may be on ironstone as well. Late Victorian period, you can see that it says semi-porcelain instead of ironstone, if it is marked at all. A lot of these have a more floral or nature theme to them. Even in the late Victorian pieces, they really loved their flowers. I have a lot of late Victorian pieces behind me that I'll show you in closer detail. So this piece right here is actually a German-made flow blue piece. It's a Rosenthal, the pansy pattern, and it has really beautiful like Art Nouveau style flowers. This beautiful lady here with the gold trim detail. A lot of pieces of flow blue may have this gold detailing, and it has, you can see the flow really nicely on the lid with the flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you the mark carefully. So this piece is about from 1891 through like 1906 is when they were using this maker's mark, which is, the maker mark is a great way to try and identify how old a piece is. There's lots of resources online that you can look up. You can try to use Google image search to get a quick idea, but typing in what you can read and then looking up the dates of the marks is the best way to try and find out more about your piece. I love the lady on this one. Here is another example. This is also a late Victorian piece. This one is the W.H. Gridley & Co., an England company. This one's the Hofburg pattern, which you can see by the mark right here. This is in the same age range as the German piece I just showed you, and this one you can really tell, like, to look for the blurriness in the flow blue patterns. Like, you can kind of see it just like leaks off of the design, and it's really pretty. I love the like flowy edges, the scallops, these nice little lines and edges. It just flows really nicely. Not just the blue, but the style of the piece with this nice handle. So both of these are transferware. Flow blue is a type of transferware, but you can tell that one is just a regular transfer versus a flow blue from just how it looks more like watercolor. And these are both made in England. This one is a Johnson Bros transferware Montana pattern. Really pretty, a different shade of blue, kind of bluish gray. And then this one with the cobalt blue, this one is W.H. Gridley & Co., a nice little bone dish with the gold trim. This one is late Victorian. And look at that stamp. This one's the Duchess pattern with the beautiful marking and the crazing on the glaze. That's another way to tell age. They can replicate the crazing, little cracklies on the glaze, but again, kind of look for what feels more natural and not factory made, like on purpose. Because when they were making these pieces, they did not want the little crackles in them originally. It was somewhat of a flaw. The weight of an item is another good way to tell if it is more of a true antique. Ironstone is pretty heavy. It's a heavy type of earthenware, and this staining is another sign of age. If things have been around for hundreds of years, they're normally not going to be in perfect condition. So this piece is I think it's a Adams? Yeah, W. Adams semi-porcelain, England, in the medallion pattern, and it has some beautiful staining little spots on the bottom. And this one doesn't flow as much. It's not as flowy for the color, but it still has that nice cobalt blue. And then if you look on the inside, it has these little toasty spots with the crazing that is really defined. I think this is a kind of cool little piece with the lid, the brass lid. Very cute. This is another late Victorian piece. Here I have another John Maddock and Sons from the Duchess pattern. And again, you can see these little flowy details, very like Art Nouveau styled flowers and little ridges and flowy bits. So this piece I'm about to show you is not a reproduction, but it is a newer piece, and I just kind of wanted to point out some of the style differences to kind of clue you in that it might be a little bit newer, even though it's still very pretty. Nice piece of blue transferware. I love this netting, like fishnet look with the beautiful florals around it. But the like style of the ridges and the handle especially, it just doesn't have the same flowiness, even though it is still a very pretty blue and white piece with the gold details as well. This piece is Blue Rhapsody, made in Russia. I think this one is a like 90s, 1990s, in that range, early 2000s design. Just a little bit different than the other pieces I've shown so far. Alrighty, I am about done yapping at little random details about Flow Blue that I've learned with you. I think this is just beautiful. I can definitely tell why it is collectible, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. We will be having a whatnot show with these pieces available for sale. I'll link that in the description below. It is coming up soon. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want more little video essays and information about antiques, I am happy to share what I learn. Whatnot show for this Thursday, I had to go peek. It's the 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also want to mention that we now offer memberships through YouTube if you want early access to videos, some members only videos and shorts, and just little status updates. We have options from $1 or $5. We greatly appreciate it. It's an extra way to support us if you would like to. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.